The scream pierces the black stone of the amphitheater, echoing as if the world itself were being ripped in half. The heat of the flames enveloping the condemned man burns his face, even from a distance. Incandescent currents swirl like fiery serpents. Each turn marks the skin with symbols that glow and fade, like sentences being written and erased in a language no mortal should know. The air is thick, laden with the smell of burnt iron. But it's not the sound of the chains that bothers him. It's the silence of the gods watching. You look around, and he realizes he's not the only one. Mortals whose faces you recognize from stories. Demigods who should have been protected by divine blood, now kneeling, chains around their necks. And, more disturbingly, even a minor bod among the prisoners. The empty look, as if he had already accepted a fate he didn't even understand. No one knows exactly what crime he committed. Some say they stole it. Others, who talked too much. And others still, who just crossed the wrong path at the wrong time. Today, you will find out whom the gods chose to destroy, and why their justice was so twisted that revenge seemed like mercy. There is no jury here. There is no written law. The will of a god is the law, and the same hand that blesses can crush. Zeus's gaze, on the golden throne, turns to you. Hera crosses her arms. Athena watches in silence. And in that moment, you understand that the next trial could begin with your name. But before the first sentence is said, a forbidden question crosses your mind, and you don't know if it's yours or if it was put there by them. If it were you, would you accept the blame and escape quickly, or would you provoke the wrath of the entire divine court? Respond in the comments. But remember, on Olympus, even your opinion can be a crime.
The court of Olympus rises like a colossus of stone and gold. In the center, Zeus's throne dominates all, forged with petrified lightning bolts that still flicker beneath the surface. On the left, Hera, spine straight, sharp gaze. She has already decided each sentence before even hearing the charges. On the right, Athena, cold, calculating, as if each judgment were just another move on the war board. Further away, leaning against a cracked column, Ares watches. The smile is not one of joy. It is of expectation. For him, any condemnation is just a prelude to more bloodshed. The air smells like rain is about to fall, even inside the closed room. The echo of the next prisoner's footsteps resounds like a slow drum. He is an ordinary man, no divine mark, no symbol of apparent crime, just a mortal on his knees, looking up as if he still believes that justice exists. Zeus does not raise his voice. The sentence is short, irrevocable. The floor beneath the prisoner opens up. Currents rise like snakes and drag him into the darkness. He doesn't scream until he turns his face and sees you. Tell them I'm innocent. His voice cuts through the silence like a blade. For an instant, all the gods turn to you. The weight of Hera's gaze, Athena's cold calculation, the amused glint in Ares' eyes. The air becomes denser. Here, there is no lie without risk, and the truth could cost you your life. The man disappears into the shadows. The silence returns, but it has changed. Now everyone wants to know what you will say when it's your turn. What is more dangerous, lying to save an innocent person or telling the truth that condemns you?
A murmur runs through the courtroom. Athena leans forward slightly, ready for a calculated move, but the one who takes the floor is Apollo, the god of light, from music and pride. He doesn't smile. It is not necessary. The simple act of standing up silences everyone. I want to record my sentence, he says, without even looking at Zeus. The doors in the background open. Guards drag a young woman with shaky steps, fair skin, long hair like threads of burnt gold. The eyes don't cry. Not anymore. They are dry, like someone who cried until their soul is empty. Athena watches in silence. Hera adjusts her posture, interested. You feel like you already know what's going to happen, but you don't understand why. Apollo swirls the wine glass. He refused to dance for me one night in Delphi. The murmur returns, lower, darker. No crime, no theft, no betrayal, just refuse. Zeus does not interfere. Hera smiles. Athena looks away. The chains emerge from the ground. They don't just hold the young woman, they shape her body. The skin opens into golden fissures as if carved alive. The legs merge into roots. The arms stretch out into branches. Within seconds, she is part of a tree. Condemned to remain in the temple courtyard forever. Adorno. Notice. No one protests. No god dares call this injustice. Here, there is no written law. There is no code, defense, or appeal. Divine will is law, and this law changes depending on the mood of the day. A chill runs up your spine. It's not about committing crimes. It's about being in the wrong place, in front of the wrong god, with the wrong perspective, even without realizing it. What if the wrong god decided you offended him without even realizing it?
The next one to enter is not dragged. He walks. Firm steps, erect posture, a slight smile on his lips, as if he weren't standing before the most feared court in existence. Sisyphus, king among men and sworn enemy of the gods. Zeus watches him with a look that mixes irritation and curiosity. Hera crosses her arms impatiently. Ares, deep down, seems to be amused by the mortal's insolent courage. "You told," Zeus says, his voice echoing like suppressed thunder. "You revealed a secret that wasn't yours." Sisyphus does not lower his head. "I saved my people." A murmur runs through the courtroom like a cold wind. You realize this isn't the first time someone has challenged Zeus, but it's rare to see someone do it while looking him in the eye. Athena speaks, without emotion. "He revealed to a mortal where to find a sacred spring. He broke the boundary between the world of men and that of the gods." Zeus argued, "And for that he will be condemned." Sisyphus "The sound is like a blade sliding across stone. Better to bear my fate than to see my city die of thirst." The chains appear, but not to bind him. They shape the ground in front of you, creating a hill that seems to have no end. On the top, a colossal stone, round and smooth as if it had been polished by time itself. Zeus approaches and with a single gesture pushes Sisyphus against the stone. The impact is brutal. The mortal almost falls, but remains firm. "Push," orders the god. The sound of stone scraping against the hillside echoes like a lament. Every inch requires more strength than any man could muster. And when Sisyphus almost reaches the top, the stone escapes, rolling back to its starting point. Zeus smiles. Forever. The silence is absolute. Even Ares and Aphrodite avoid commenting. Eternity was given as punishment for a single act of mercy. You feel the weight of Sisyphus's decision and realize that one day you may have to make the same choice. What would you do? Keep the gods secret or save your people and be damned forever?
The next prisoner is pushed in. He is young, but his body already bears the marks of chains and punishments. The eyes, however, are not those of a guilty person. They are those of someone who still believes there is a fair trial. Zeus stands on the throne. The room darkens, as if clouds are gathering inside the ceiling. "He stole from the temple," he declares, his voice echoing like an iron hammer. "The punishment is rightfully mine." Before he can continue, a cold breeze invades the room. The ground is covered in mist. From the shadows, another figure emerges. Hades,
The god of the underworld walks to the center, and each step extinguishes the light around him. "No, brother, this one belongs to me." Zeus frowns. The air vibrates with electricity. Lightning flashes across the ceiling and remains there, suspended, like trapped beasts about to attack. "He challenged my authority," Zeus insists. "And he killed under my rule," Hades retorts, his voice low and heavy as ancient stone. The climate changes. Marble columns crack with dry cracks. Shadows stretch across the floor like snakes, climbing up the prisoner's legs, tightening their chains. You try to step back, but invisible hands grab your shoulders. There is no escape. The gods pull you to the center. You are the chosen witness. "Tell me, mortal," Hades demands, "who does this belong to?" "Be careful with your answer," Zeus warns, a bolt of lightning pulsing in his palm. The court seems about to fall apart. The thunder trapped in the ceiling roars. Hades' shadows climb the walls, extinguishing the torches. The marble beneath your feet tremble. You understand. It's not just the prisoner's life that's at stake. It's yours. In the corner, Athena watches, calculating the outcome as if it were a chess battle. Aphrodite smiles, perhaps from the tension, perhaps from the impending chaos. Hades leans forward, his eyes like bottomless abysses. "Perhaps it would be best if he came with me. The judges of the underworld would know how to weigh every grain of guilt." You feel the name judges echo in your mind, figures who, according to the stories, belong neither to Olympus nor to Earth. And the way Hades talks, they don't judge, they sentence. Zeus approaches, the thunder almost slipping from his hand. "Then choose," and the whole room waits for your verdict.
The silence is broken with a bang. The lightning bolt in Zeus's hand explodes, sending sparks ricocheting off the marble walls. At the same time, Hades' shadows rise like living walls, blocking out the light and swallowing up part of the room. The court is no longer a place of judgment, it's a battlefield. Hera stands, her dress billowing like a rough sea. "Enough!" Her voice cuts through the air like a blade. "If you're going to turn this into a spectacle, at least let me choose the script." With a gesture, golden chains emerge from the ground and wrap around Zeus and Hades' legs. They react. Thunder and darkness collide, shattering 3 columns in the background. Athena advances, not to fight, but to move invisible pieces. She whispers in Ares' ear. The god of war smiles a smile that portends carnage. Ares leaps from his seat, landing in the center with enough impact to crack the marble. "This court is taking too long." He raises his spear, pointing at the prisoner. Blood resolves faster than words. Zeus roars. Hades chuckles softly. The air vibrates with forces no mortal should ever witness. You are in the center, as close to the prisoner as to the deities who dispute his fate. The heat of the lightning on the skin, the cold of the shadows on the other side, and now the weight of Hera's gaze, calculating whether to use him as a piece or as a sacrifice. Aphrodite, leaning against a broken column, watches as if she were watching the most moving play in eternity. "Go on," she murmurs. "I haven't seen enough yet." The ceiling cracks, fragments fall. The torches waver, caught between light and darkness. The smell of ozone and burnt stone fills the air. The trial falls apart. There is no longer a judge, defendant, or witness. Everyone is a combatant now, and you don't know which side you'll be trapped on. Amidst lightning, currents, and shadows, the question that echoes within you has no easy answer. Who deserves to decide fate? The most just or the strongest?
The sound of battle fades as if someone had pulled the air out of the room. The thunder dies in the middle of its roar. The shadows of Hades retreat. Even the echo of Hera's chains falls silent. In the emptiness that remains, a new sound spreads through the courtroom. Slow footsteps. They do not come from above, nor from the doors, but from the cracked ground itself. From the abyss that opened in the center, a figure emerges. Tall,
wrapped in a black cloak that seems made from the night itself. The face, half hidden, shows only a pair of eyes that do not shine. They absorb the light. Nemesis, the goddess of vengeance. Zeus leans back on his throne, a tense smile on his face. Hera keeps her posture, but the stiffness in her shoulders betrays her. Even Hades watches in silence, calculating the gravity of the visit. She walks among the wreckage, ignoring the kneeling mortal, ignoring you, ignoring the court itself. Her voice is low, but it carries enough weight to pierce any barrier. I bring the sentence for those who believe they had escaped. A murmur runs through the gods. Nemesis does not distinguish between mortals and immortals. All are within her reach. And when she punishes, there is no negotiation, no exchange, no appeal. Her gaze sweeps across the room, and for a moment, it stops on you. It is quick, but enough to leave a trail of ice across your skin, as if she had already measured your worth and recorded your debt. She stops in the center. The silence returns, heavier than before. Because now, the room is not just a courtroom. It is a place where everyone, even the gods, can be defendants.
Nemesis stands before the throne of Zeus. The silence is so profound that you hear the distant sound of water dripping somewhere in the abyss. She raises her hand and points to the kneeling mortal. One of them must pay. Now. The one of them is not just him. Nemesis's gaze flickers between the prisoner and you. Zeus leans forward, curious. Hera smiles, as if already imagining what you will choose. Hades crosses his arms, waiting to collect whoever loses. Athena says nothing, but the gleam in her eyes reveals that she is calculating every possible outcome. Ares, just hope the choice ends in blood. Suddenly, Hermes appears beside you, so close that you can smell the wind and dust on his cloak. Lying well is easy, he whispers with a lopsided smile. What's difficult is surviving the truth. His words seep into your mind like slow poison. Accusing the innocent may save him, perhaps, but the weight of that lie will follow him until the end of time. Speaking the truth can bring you honor for a few seconds, until it costs your life. The prisoner looks up. Don't beg. Don't beg. He just stares, as if he would accept any sentence, as long as it is fair. Nemesis awaits. Zeus awaits. Everyone awaits. And the entire courtroom seems to lean over you, choking off the air, crushing time. You open your mouth, knowing that any sound that comes out will decide more than one fate. What's up, mortal? Who do you hand over? And who do you condemn? The weight of choice still hangs in the air as the ground shakes. First, a sharp crack, like stone cracking under pressure. Then a dull roar came from the depths. The marble beneath your feet breaks into jagged lines, pulling apart like living plates. You try to retreat, but there is nowhere to go. The entire courtroom floor gives way at once. The world tilts. You lose your balance. The air is ripped from your lungs as if stolen by invisible hands. The fall isn't quick, it's heavy, dragging your body down as if every bone were made of lead. The cold wind cuts the face, but with it comes a strange metallic heat. The smell of burnt iron fills your nose, reminiscent of heated blood on newly forged blades. The light from the courtroom disappears above you, replaced with thick pitch black. In the darkness, small flashes appear, but they are not stars. They are eyes. Eyes that move, following your descent, watching like predators that already know you have nowhere to run. And then the voice,
grave, deep, coming from all sides and from inside your own head. There are no innocents here, only delayed sentences. You recognize the tone even before the name, Hades. The words echo through the void, repeating themselves until they become one with the sound of the fall itself. And when your feet finally touch the ground, you're not sure if you survived or just crossed the threshold to final judgment.
The impact is not like that of a common fall. It's silent, but the weight is so intense that your knees give way. You feel the ground pulsate beneath your feet, as if it were alive. In front of you, a corridor stretches as far as the eye can see, lined with obsidian columns. Between them, motionless figures watch, but the more you try to focus, the more you realize they are not statues. They are people, or they were, one day. The air is too cold to breathe without pain. Every breath seems to cut inside, and the distant sound of chains echoes, accompanying his involuntary steps. At the end of the corridor, 3 shadows wait. You can't make out their faces, just the oppressive feeling emanating from them. Their names are whispered by the walls, as if space itself fears them. The judges of the underworld. You feel that before them, even the gods who rule Olympus would be defendants. And he understands, with painful clarity, that every word, every choice, every silence he has had up until now is about to be weighed down. A low chuckle echoes behind you. Hades approaches slowly, his gaze fixed on her face. He leans in close enough for only you to hear. If you think the court of Olympus was cruel, wait until you meet the judges of the underworld. The corridor seems to shrink around you. You don't know if you're being led or if you're going of your own free will, but you know there's no turning back. If you dare to cross, touch the inscription seal, because when the next trial begins, Hades will already have your name written on it.